This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now. Sign up today, get free money and no deposit necessary. BETR, better.app.
All right, let's start the hour here with a bunch of plays in the National Football League for week number 8 as VSiN host Mike Somich joins the program. You can get his podcast with Patrick Maher. It is called Sharp Money. Drops every single Monday and Thursday, and he's on the Progressive Guest line. Mike, thanks for the time as always. Let's begin in a rematch of a game that we had only a couple of weeks ago on that Thursday night where the Giants took apart the Eagles, specifically in the second half. So here you go. Fast forward to Sunday. Now Eagles without A.J. Brown, laying a touchdown or so in that neighborhood, 7.5. Do they get revenge coming up this week, Mike?
I think they do. I think you're going to get a very focused Eagles team in this game, not just because of that loss, but when you hear about the locker room interviews you're getting from the Eagles this week, you've got multiple players coming out and saying it was one of the worst games they played of their career. They want to get revenge. This should be a pumped up Eagles team heading into this game. They have advantages all over the field as well. They were not able to get their running game going or the deep passing game going against the Giants on that Thursday night. I don't see the Giants being able to stop them again this week. And I also kind of question, what do we get from the Giants here? Off of that fourth quarter where they absolutely gave it up to the Denver Broncos, allowing the Broncos to put up 33 and blowing a 3-possession lead with less than 6 minutes left in that ball game. This is just one of those spot plays for me where, because of the Brown news, you saw sevens pop back on the board today. It was almost 7.5 painted yesterday and today before that news. Now that you don't have Brown in there, you can get the 7 with the Eagles again. I want to jump in there. I want to lay the 7 with this Philadelphia Eagles team, who even not at full strength, I think has advantages all over the field with Devonta Smith, with Barkley, and with Goddard. So let's go ahead. Let's lay it with a very motivated Eagles team this week.
All right. Very good. I think you think this line's getting out of control and absurd, right? That 1-5 Baltimore's up to 7?
It really is. Like, look, if I went back to my priors at the beginning of the season, I could get to 7 here. And I understand this is a kitchen sink game for Baltimore, but we don't really know what to expect from the Ravens with all of these injuries coming back. We haven't seen Lamar Jackson at practice to the level that I would have liked to see him leading up into this game. We know you're getting pieces back on this defense, but even when they were fully healthy at the start of the season, this wasn't a defense that was dominant. On the other side, we've seen the Bears play a couple very good games out of the bye. The offense seems to be clicking a little better, able to run the ball with both Monungai and Swift in the backfield. Now, injury report, not great for the Bears today. That's the one main concern for me here. But I can't get to 7 with the current versions of these two teams. Again, if this was preseason and we were looking at just priors, I could see why this is 7. But with everything that's happened through the first 7 weeks of the NFL, I think this game should be closer to 5. I was happy to play at 6.5. Now we're getting the full 7. I'm going to put another unit in here because I like the Bears quite a bit, catching the full touchdown.
All right. Do you think the Broncos would currently be a 3.5-point favorite if that craziness at the end of the game on Sunday at home against the Giants never happened? And I mean, by that, I mean, it's like 26-8. It's a burial, and they just don't have that comeback in them.
No, I don't. I think this would be a game that we're seeing on the other side of 3. I think if let's say it finishes 26-8, this is probably a Broncos team that's minus 2.5, and it's a Broncos offense that we are talking a lot more about how they have struggled now week in and week out. We have not seen Bo Nix consistently play good football. We're just 2 weeks removed from a game where they probably could have lost to the Jets over in Europe, where this offense was absolutely atrocious. And I understand you've got a bad Cowboys defense. You also have an elite Cowboys offense, one that is going to be able to score against this Denver defense. So it really comes down to the question, do you trust the Denver Broncos offense to go score for score with the Cowboys? If you do, 3 is fine, but you can still get 3.5s with this Cowboys team. Anything on the other side of 3, I think, is an incorrect number here. I like Dallas quite a bit, plus 3.5. If you can't get the 3.5, I still don't mind getting the 3. And I know this is one of your favorites over there. Longest field goal in this game, you can get Dallas plus 100. They might try a 70-yarder at some point with Aubrey in Denver. I love the longest field goal Cowboys plus 100 as well as the Cowboys plus 3.5.
Great catch out of you.
Clarence Hill, who covers the team, was on Dallas radio today and said the coaching staff is like, doesn't matter. It could be 4th and 7 in the second quarter. If it's 66 yards, so be it. They're going to trot him out there.
Good.
That's what they said. I know. It's like a 40-yarder for him.
I would love to see Denver score with like 5 seconds left in the first half and just kick it into the end zone. And Dallas comes out on their own 35 and just lines up for a field goal. Just to see, hey, let's see if we can get it there, right? Why not? Totally. Why not try it in Denver?
It's going down. He's hitting from 70 on Sundays.
You know who Aubrey is? Aubrey is Steph Curry. Like Steph Curry from half court, I'd take over half the league from the regular line. And remember his unanimous MVP year? He was more efficient from 28 feet and out than Dwight Howard was at the rim.
Correct.
That's absolutely bananas. That's what Aubrey's turning into here.
Yes, that's my favorite stat. Dalton's on a 5.
What do you guys?
Sorry, go ahead.
What do you guys think Aubrey is worth on the line? Is there a kicker? Like he's worth what, 1.5, maybe 2 full points if you take into the fact that he's one of the most efficient kickoff kickers as well with the new rules. Like it's amazing to think that a kicker is that valuable to a team.
He's 91% career from 50 plus.
Yep. I mean, put it this way.
He's made what, 5 or 6 from 60?
Sure. Like, would you be as excited to bet the Broncos in this game, Mike, if Aubrey all of a sudden was on the injury report?
No, I wouldn't be playing the Cowboys because it changes the kickoff as well. He is one of the best kickers at this little knuckleball kick.
Yep.
And so the starting field position for their opponents is around the 20-25 yard line versus them starting at the 35 consistently with 1 first down away from field goal range. It's a huge difference.
Yeah, he does a great job, no doubt. Dalton 5-1 overrun with Carolina. Bills off the bye. Let's see what McDermott can do. Total of 46.5. As we mentioned earlier, Bills' second worst run defense.
Yeah, give me the over here. Like I think the Bills are going to be better off the bye, but I'm not sure that the magic elixir was drank over the bye to be able to stop the run now. You're still missing Milano. Yes, you get your defensive line back, but this is a Panthers team that should be able to consistently move the football on the Bills. I think the Bills win the game. I think they get theirs. If I think Carolina can keep it close in any way, shape, or form, I think this game has to go over that 46.5 that's out there. This is another situation, too, where Bryce Young is probably a better quarterback over the course of a season. Andy Dalton might be a better quarterback this week for this Carolina team because I do think you're going to see him utilize more pieces of this offense. Xavier Legette all of a sudden had a turnaround game. Coker's looking a little bit better. I think he has a shot for having a decent game in here. And you still have Ted McMillan out there who is improving. I think this is a Panthers offense that will be effective against the Bills, and that forces this game over the 46.5 total.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Mike Somich, his podcast is called Sharp Money. Every Monday and Thursday with Patrick Maher. You can get it wherever you get your podcast. So you like a derivative here in the Saints-Buccaneers game, yeah?
I do. I think this is a game where you're going to see this Buccaneers defense really be able to bottle up this Saints team. First off, you've got a top 2 run defense in the NFL. That's going to make it much more difficult for Spencer Rattler to be able to really attack outside. You've got Olave who's banged up heading into this game. That takes away one of their better weapons. And this is a blitz-happy Bulls defense that I think is going to be able to pick apart an offensive line for the Saints. This is one of those spots where the defense it's an important game for them. They need to be able to shut down this Saints offense so that their offense does not need to be as explosive as it has been over the past few weeks. I think it's a phenomenal matchup here for the Bucs defense. Because we've seen this line get smaller and smaller, we've also seen the team totals adjust. And I'm not running to the window to back the Bucs here, but I will run to the window to play a team total under. You can get 21.5 with some juice out there on the New Orleans Saints team total under. Let's go under that 21. If you find a 21.5, it's minus 120. I like that even better. Is 21 obviously a key number? Sure. But I'm happy taking even under 21 here with a Saints team that I think is really going to struggle running the football and keeping Rattler on his feet. How
aggressive do you want to be with Robinson props? Miami allowed 80 yards and 3 touchdowns to Judkins, $124 to Vidal, 200 to Dowdle. Jets ran for 100. Cook had 100 against them.
I think you want to be aggressive here, but I don't think you can go crazy because there's a game state where Algier gets too many carries for Bijan. We've seen them split these running backs. I think Bijan gets his. I think he flies over his 90.5 rushing yard total. So I'll go ahead and play Bijan Robinson over that total. I think if you want to look at ways to get aggressive with Bijan, I think you actually look at longest rush as well, and you just play 1 unit on the longest rush over, 1 unit on the rush yards over at 90.5. This is a Dolphins team that gives up big plays, and it's a Bijan Robinson style running back that feasts on those big plays. I think he pops off for 1 or 2 big runs in this game, pushing him over that total. I don't want to ladder him to 150, 175, anything crazy like that, though, because he's not going to get all the carries, especially if the Falcons win by margin. You're going to see more Algier in the second half, and that, to me, makes it difficult to really go nuts on the ladder with Bijan.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so I have the under in the 49ers-Texans game. On Wednesday, it came out that Kirk wide receiver for the Texans, had a hammy, and now their best weapon, Nico Collins, dealing with a concussion here. So is there a player that you actually have some trust in this week that Stroud might be throwing the ball to?
I do. Look, I think this is a pretty good matchup here for the Houston Texans, and we've seen this number bounce around. I actually laid the Texans -2 in my look-ahead article last week. Now, I thought we were going to have Kirk and Collins in there, so I still like the Texans side just because of the matchup scenario, but I really wish we had both those pieces in there. I would not bet the Texans now at the 2.5. I will be betting Jalen Noel props, though. He is the rookie wide receiver from Iowa State, one of the two that are on this team that seems to be the one that is developing the fastest. If you watch the second half of last week's game, he was the wide receiver that was getting the targets after we saw Nico Collins leave that game. His receiving prop is at 35.5. I'll take the over there, and this is someone I would ladder. I think Noel could be the number one wide receiver this weekend for the Texans and could end up having a game where he has 70, 80 yards, and you're looking at big plus money prices if you ladder him up.
Excellent. You can follow Mike on X. He's at SamObama18. The podcast called Sharp Money, again, every Monday and Thursday, but also Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown, and the contest show tomorrow night, every Saturday, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific, must-watch television. Mike, that was great. Love talking to you. Best of luck this weekend.
Appreciate it, guys. Check out VSiN at the Track as well. Yep. Breeders' Cup next weekend. We got you covered on both Friday and Saturday's full cards with 2 shows next week.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And he was on the Progressive Guest Line. Okay. I know that you're going to go nuts at some point today talking about tight end weekend.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Gadsden got there last night.
Oh, I know, but he had 77 yards in the second quarter. He was 6-1 to have 90.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just he no catch the rest of the game because the Vikings were so bad and it was a blowout.
Yep. How about this? A team has lost 21 straight games in this spot as a 6-point dog or more. 21! We'll tell you the team next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We just touched on this game with Mike Somich. He likes Robinson rushing yard. How is Miami going to get stops?
They won't.
I mean, here are some of the alarming numbers. Most rushing yards allowed to backs on the year, 898. They've also allowed 5 touchdowns. And in the air to opposing running backs, 33 catches for 298 yards. Meanwhile, Atlanta has only allowed 24 catches for 150 yards to backs all year long. Achane, unders maybe this week for him. And on top of that, now Atlanta has only played 6 games, but they've given up the second fewest catches and the fewest yards to wide receivers. Miami has allowed the 8th most catches and 5th most yards to tight ends. There's no Darren Waller. Julian Hill is the new tight end, but is questionable. Tanner Connor backs him up. Atlanta has allowed 10 catches for 99 yards to tight ends the entire year. Easily the best numbers in the league.
Last year, Pitts had 90 yards and 2 scores on National Tight End Day. And hello, Captain Kirk. Penix is questionable. Not looking good. And I know Mike Florio had the tweet last night about bring him home, bring him back after how bad Wentz looked. And maybe the Vikings could acquire Cousins, who's just sitting there. Cousins might play in this game. Who knows? But
would you be more comfortable like with Atlanta Survivor teasers with Cousins that have banged up Penix?
I'd feel better with Cousins.
I think I might too.
Yep. They're 7th in yards, but they're 28th in points per game because they stink in the red zone. And they've also had those kicking issues earlier about settling for too many field goals as well. So Miami hasn't won a road game. 1-9 last 10 road neutral. 1-6 second half ATS. 1-6 fourth quarter ATS. Yeah, I guess all you have is Waddle and maybe a little Achane here, but the defense is so good with Atlanta.
Yep. They're
just going to run wild, and maybe Pitts does something here. He's 11-1. Most yards for a tight end on Sunday.
Okay. Where's that at? Where's that available?
That's at DraftKings. And then Caesars has all these guys listed for every game with a plethora of props. 70 yards in a score, 10 yards each quarter, 25 yards each half, 50 yards each half, all that stuff. It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to dive in. You know, tight ends are people too.
They are.
Right? They deserve that respect.
It's their day.
Mike McDaniel, 2-15 straight up, 4-13 ATS as a single-digit dog.
No.
So when the game is supposed to be competitive, they get blown out.
Oh.
Let me give you this news. We'll expand on this game a little bit later on, but it is official for the 49ers. There is no Brock Purdy this week, they are also going to be without wide receiver Ricky Pearsall. So the Jets are playing the Bengals. Now, tip of the cap, Pauly. We did Real or Fugazi like 2 weeks ago now, and you said the Bengals are real. Is that Real or Fugazi? I kind of shot it down. Now, you were talking about over the win total at 5.5 at that time.
I bet it, yeah.
Yeah. But look at now how this has only been like a couple of weeks because of the addition of Joe Flacco, right? I played them on a teaser this weekend already. And, if I had them, which I don't, Bengals would probably be my number one priority in Circus Survivor this week.
Extra rest. Flacco was so good. 342 and 3 scores in the win against Pittsburgh. They're right there now with the schedule and what's coming up, and they look so good on offense. Remember, this wasn't like he took over a winless team. They had 2 wins banked. So they are 3-4, about to be 4-4. Chase 16 for 161. It was comical. It's like, okay, I'm throwing to him every time. What are you going to do about it, Pittsburgh? And nothing. Who's going to play quarterback for the Jets? Don't know. The defense has been so bad. They did look better in the Carolina game, and then the Denver game as well, although the Broncos were just lost there. But I just think they're going to get what they want. And now even they look good in the second half against Green Bay. That shows how bad Browning was. The weapons are there, and this is right up your alley. And for a lot of our listeners, because you're married with a kid now, this is Flacco this week about now moving to a new city. He's by himself, and the family and kids are back at home, but he's stuck in Cincinnati.
I think there's always a challenge of sitting in a room by yourself and being lonely. So for me, it's trying to find ways to maybe stay over here a little bit longer and then, just kind of take myself out of that mindset, call home, go sit at a restaurant by myself and realize that, man, that's pretty enjoyable to do. After there's not too many situations. I tell people all the time. I mean, I used to see guys sitting at a bar by themselves, or just sitting by themselves eating and grabbing a little meal, and I'm like, man, I feel so bad for that guy. Like, you almost want to go join him. And now I realize, like, that dude was in heaven.
Right?
That is great.
I think that's very relatable for most of us.
Yeah, right.
I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
My wife and Sebastian, now it sucks that I'm not there, but they're at Disneyland right now. And I've seen like a bunch of the videos and the photos like from last night and today. And I'm missing it. He's not going to remember it, which I guess is a good thing for me. But the kid looks like he is in heaven. And so, I'm sad not being there. But without them now at home, it's kind of like I'm sitting right where Joe Flacco was talking now. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful that I can get home tonight. Nobody's going to be around, and I can stretch out on the couch. And I'm not going to have 49 things coming at me in the next 15 minutes.
That's right.
And by the way, I think he has 5 kids, which I don't even know how people have more than 2.
He said he goes out by himself, gets something to eat, but for the most part, it's in the playbook and trying to make this happen and see if Flacco fever can happen once again. After 2 years ago, they got him off the couch and what he did with the Browns. So I just think with Higgins and Chase and Fant and everything they did, and then got the running game going too. Finally, right. Brown went off. So.
Now, you don't have to agree with this, but the Opta AI stats at VSiN.com, they are projecting Joe Flacco to go under his yards prop by about 60 yards.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
And
they like Chase under too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Big.
So to me, this is all about Mason Taylor, tight end for the Jets. Cincinnati has allowed 48 catches at tight ends, second most. Also 536 yards, which is the most, and 9 touchdowns. Like no team's even close to that number. Fannin, Njoku, week 1, 10 for 100. Hawkinson, 549 on the touchdown. Troutman and Engram for the Broncos, 6 for 61. Laporta, a couple of weeks back, 5 for 92 and 1. Kraft, 2 for 43 and 1. And don't forget about tight end Armageddon last Thursday night for this team. Mm-hmm. Because Freiermuth for the Steelers had 5 for 111 and 2 touchdowns. Jonnu Smith, 3 for 28 on a touchdown. And Darnell Washington scored a touchdown as well.
Love him. He's 3-1 Sunday night. I like him.
And Mason,
big target.
And Mason Taylor's prop is finally out. It's right where I thought it was going to be, 40.5.
Really? Okay.
So not going to go nuts with it. I have not seen the receptions prop yet. And I think we need more confirmation, by the way, like you said, with the Jets quarterback at this point.
25-1, most yards for a tight end Sunday.
Okay. I don't hate it. I said this before the break. which team has lost 21 straight games in this spot?
Cleveland lost 21 in a row on the road as a 6-point dog or higher. The last win, Brian Hoyer beat Christian Ponder in 2013.
Oh, my Lord.
What a time to be alive. Also, New England. They haven't allowed a back to rush for 50 yards yet this year. Cook had 49. Tampa's got the record, 2020-10. Goes back to the merger in 1970. Number 2 ranked run defense. Careful with Judkins. They're 5-1 in their last 6. It's cooking now with May and the offense and what they're doing defensively. It won't go well for Gabriel. I'm not in love with the spot. Back-to-back road games. Now you come home. I just think Vrabel's that good and May's that good. And it's going to be a long day for Gabriel, and you can't run on New England.
The Junkins prop, by the way, is between 64.5 and 67.5. When Charge was on yesterday, He said that he was talking about a number that was 71.5, and I think he saw that early on Thursday morning. So there has been anti-Junkins in the market for sure, and it makes sense. But his breakdown on Ramondre Stevenson as well for the rushing attempts under, because he's had 3 good games and I think 4 bad games so far this year. And when it doesn't go well, he averages like 7 carries per game. And this Browns rushing defense is right there with Tampa Bay as the 2 best in the entire league. And now I know I brought this up last week because May's opponent was really good at neutralizing running backs on the ground. Cleveland is dynamite at slowing down quarterbacks and rushing the football. But May was able to bust one for like 18 yards right away in the game, and that'll just wipe out everything. His prop is like 27.5, 28.5. But I'm with you. Like I played the Patriots on a teaser earlier today, and it was a good win for the Browns last week. Paul, they did nothing special, as I pointed out earlier in the week.
No.
That was all anti-Miami.
Silly turnovers. Yep, silly turnovers. I found this interesting. In the early games, this is from Evan Abrams, favorites are 65% ATS this year.
Oh, wow.
In the early games. And NFC is crushing the AFC. 26-13 ATS as well. That is also strong. Think you know sports? Start getting paid for it. Better Picks, the daily fantasy app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download the Better app. Pick more or less on your favorite player's stats. And if your pick hits, you win. New users get free money just for signing up. No deposit required. And when you do deposit, you get a 50% deposit match up to $200. Better as action year-round, NBA, soccer, UFC, golf, and more. Head to better.app, BETR, download it in the App or Google Play Store. Promo code VSiN for your free money.
VSiN morning show host Dave Ross on the program next. He has a ticket that pays $69,000 if the Blue Jays win the World Series. We'll ask him how he's going to try to monetize next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
World Series begins tonight. How about this? Here at Circa, looking at the board right now. Remember, Circa had one of the lowest prices on the board on the Dodgers, trying to get some Blue Jays money. They're now at Dodgers minus 260, Blue Jays plus 220 to win it. I looked everywhere yesterday. The highest number I could find on the Blue Jays was plus 215. So Circa is now higher than that. And we head out to the Progressive guest line as VSiN morning show host Dave Ross joins the program now. He hosts VSiN By The Books every day, 7 a.m. Eastern, with Jensen Lewis. And Dave, good afternoon. I can imagine the heart rate here in a couple of hours where that's going to be peaking at, because you have a ticket that pays $69,000 on the Blue Jays to win the whole thing from a blackjack tournament in July here at Circa. Before we ask what you're going to do with the ticket, can you tell people how and why you're holding that ticket?
Yeah, absolutely, Mitch, Paul. It's great to be with you guys. You guys know we were invited to the same tournament, the three of us and Matt Humans. And what I failed to remember, Paulie, and I apologize, I didn't know that when I kind of went all in on the last hand on Monday and I got a blackjack, that was the decisive hand to get me out of the VSiN round. and to get me into this tournament.
Yeah.
So I had no idea looking back on the origin stories of how this began, but that's how it began. So you get in the tournament, then it becomes 2 more days on top of that, and it's a chip count here, and it's 1 through 12, and wherever you would fall in the chip count, obviously that's the number associated with your free roll that you would get and what team at those current odds at the All-Star break. Now, I didn't do very well on days 2 and 3. Kind of knew I'd be positioned anywhere from 6 to 12, somewhere in that back end. Wasn't going to get the Dodgers or the Yankees or even the Brewers, who were 22-1 at the All-Star break for kind of those type of free rolls. So I mentioned kind of in the middle to the back. And a really nice guy named David Chia, who came up to me on the Tuesday, and we didn't know the order yet. And he had said to me, who are you going to pick? Like, be honest with me. And I said, I'll tell you honestly, if the Mets fall to me, and again, not knowing where I'd be positioned, that's my heart. And they were about 11-1 at that point. I think they were still leading the East at that point. We didn't see the inevitable collapse coming like we saw it manifest itself. I would have taken the Mets had they been there. But I said, David, the team I will take, if they fall to me and the Mets are gone, I'm not playing poker with you. Honestly, I would take Seattle at 30-1. They were about 5 games back of the Astros at the time. Yeah. And I thought that was the best value play on the board by far. Wouldn't you know it, I get the 9th spot. David gets the 8th spot. The gentleman that had the 7th spot took the Mets. And I was like, oh, Mets are off the board. And I looked right at David and I said, if you don't take them, I am. And he went and took Seattle, and Toronto fell to me at 22-1. So that's how that happened, because the last hand I had knocked me back to the 9th spot. I contemplated Boston at 35-1. If you guys remember on the All-Star break, they were starting to get hot and kind of build up a lather. But I ended up eschewing Philadelphia. They were still on the board. And I went with Toronto. They had a 3-game lead at that point. And I thought, man, if they can win this division, I did not think they'd get the 1 seed out of the American League. I didn't see that. But I thought if they can win the division, at least get home field in a round, then my ticket will be live. They got the front end starter. That turned out to be Shane Bieber, and we didn't know what he would become, obviously. Hadn't even heard of Trey Savage yet at that point. So really, guys, you need good fortune in order to get to where I am now with that 22-1 ticket, and that's what I've gotten to get to this point.
No problem. You knocked me out. 5%'s fine if you win. Don't worry about it. I can't believe that with the second pick, and we've talked all week about the liability here, and what Derek Stevens has mentioned it. I can't believe the Dodgers went second at plus 250.
Well, I mean, and at that point, if you remember, the Dodgers were not playing great baseball. They didn't have everything in line like it's in line today. So even with that second pick, guys, if I had had that, I probably wouldn't have taken the Dodgers or the Yankees went 1. Looking back, I know people are going to go, how could you make that pick? It's the Yankees. You thought they'd buy because, we're getting to those trade deadlines. Still hadn't happened yet with like a week or 2 to go still there. So a lot of things had to fall into place. But, the Blue Jays didn't make massive splashes. It was Shane Bieber, and it really was Savage. And, Jensen and I talked about it this morning on By the Books, kind of documented his rise. Who could have seen this coming? That a kid that we weren't talking about when I made this selection not only goes from single A ball to double A to triple A, but then makes the roster. Bassett and Scherzer were not on the ALDS roster. Savage not only was, but he pitched in game 2, and he had a no-hitter going against the Yankees. This is incredible stuff. And look, I do feel like I'm playing with the proverbial house money here, but he's going tonight in game 1. I got to tell you, I don't feel too bad about going up against Blake Snell with this kid. He feels bulletproof, and it just feels like nothing's gotten to him as long as he's pitching in Toronto. We haven't seen him pitch outside there. We won't see that happen even if this series gets extended. I mean, these are the type of breaks you need for a 22-1 ticket to even have a chance to get home this late in the year.
All right, so let's ask you this. We're talking to Dave Ross, VSiN By The Books morning show host, along with Jensen Lewis, 7 a.m. Eastern time. Monday through Friday, his ticket pays $69,000. But again, that's a free roll. You wanted a blackjack tournament here at Circa. We might have countless people in the audience holding a big ticket on Toronto. Like, yeah, I've been thinking about hedging, but I don't know what to do with the ticket yet. It appears as if you might be in a hotel room right now. I'm guessing connected to or maybe at a casino. So you're ready to go tonight. Have you done anything with the ticket yet?
No, Mitch, great call. That's exactly where I am. I've got the cash on hand, so I'm not going to tell my location, but it's in Kentucky if you guys want to come down and see me. And so my plan is I was shopping around because you mentioned it. The Circa number, I think, has just gotten out of hand to do, like, if you want to do a straight hedge, and obviously I know people are saying, man, just just take put in your 20K profit. If you really think the Dodgers are just going to steamroll this thing here, play half and not even sweat out the series. Yes, you can do that. But I don't want to do that because, one, I think Toronto's actually live in this series. I do. And I know the way it looks now. And I want to see if it looks the same after games 1 and 2 tomorrow. Look, I could be sitting here going, why didn't I just do the no sweat bet here, hedge my way the other side, lay even the 250, what it might be. I found a smaller number here around 215 at the place I'm at here in Kentucky in the series price. Still haven't bet it yet. And what I'm thinking about doing, guys, instead of laying the 215 on the series price here, you can play it at about 340 on the Dodgers plus a run and a half tonight in game 1. It's the smallest of middles, but it does afford me that if the Dodgers lose by 1, we'll cash that first ticket. And by the way, I would never put a dime, 2 dimes on a number like this. I would never advocate people to lay these type of price tags. The only reason why I would consider and am considering and probably will do a play like that tonight is because it's a free roll. So, yeah, I could lose that wager, that dime or 2 wager here at minus 330, 340. But it's really, I'm rooting against it. I mean, obviously, heart of hearts, I'd love for them to lose by 1 tonight and then everything keeps rolling on. And then we take that profit, roll that over into what we want to do tomorrow. But what I'm considering, guys, is going game by game. And I could absolutely just lay the $1.50, $1.60 on the Dodgers in game 1 at a sizable chunk of change to guarantee something back. But I don't want that ticket to hit. I do want the Dodgers to lose by 1 and see if I can get really picky here with that smallest of middles, if you will, if the Blue Jays could eke out a 1-run win. Look, I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. I don't want it to be a sweat. I'd much rather have the big ticket live on. These are smaller plays game by game that I'm figuring out the different ways to play it and live betting. I will be live betting this thing in real time when they go to the half innings. And if Toronto gets up 1 and this number gets down to a pick 'em in the live betting market, bam, I'm going to be putting a sizable chunk here in the Dodgers in real time.
Let me just throw this at you, and I know that you have your mind made up already. As you're talking, I thought of this maybe angle for others in the audience here. You could play Dodgers minus 1.5 games. And if that doesn't win, there are 2 scenarios. Either the Blue Jays beat them in 6 games, whatever it was, or it goes to a game 7 and you lose that ticket, but then you can come back and fire one more time on the Dodgers in game 7. There is
Absolutely.
that scenario.
Okay.
You should bet.
Yes, Mitch, you're exactly right. And then you would have to hedge again if it goes to a 7th game. What a great spot to be in, right, with a ticket like that. So that is probably another way. But again, it won't be a huge chunk, guys. But it will be another play that I'll have in there. Will be Dodgers minus a game and a half on the series price for that scenario. But I am going to go more game by game and see if we can find, if they present themselves. Look, Dodgers come out, put up 5 in the first against the Kid. Game 1's out of pocket, but I'll win my smaller play on Dodgers plus a run and a half. So I am going to do that bigger picture too, Mitch. And I love that idea. Something I've been contemplating just to figure out the right monetary price tag to put on that.
Well, you can follow Dave's journey tonight on X at DRoss Sports going through this. We wish you the best of luck, man. Thanks for the time. Good luck.
You guys are the best. And if I win, guys, I'm coming back. We're getting a cabana and celebrating.
Hell yes.
All right, go Cowboys. I don't like it. I would bet the double, plus 115. Dodgers to win game 1 and the series. Because if you can steal game 1, then you feel. But if the Dodgers win tonight, that series price goes bye-bye.
I did that once with the Minnesota Lynx last year and the Liberty. I bet the Liberty to win in game 1 in the series. They lost game 1 and won the series. Not a fun scenario to be in.
That's plus 115 at DraftKings. I like the double.
NFL up next. I will tell you which coach is 13-23 ATS in this spot since 2021.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
All right, more games here. Week 8 National Football League. Niners playing the Texans. I'm still stunned that 41.5s are available in this game.
I'm shocked at McCaffrey's receiving price and odds.
Where's he at?
The low 40s. How can that be?
Yeah, I'm saying that because, again, there's no Purdy. There's no Pearsall. They'll start to think about Ayuk coming back next week, if it's a possibility. The defense has played an unbelievable game at home, even without some of their star players. Robert Saleh is really cooking as the DC here for the 49ers. Mm-hmm. And, oh, by the way, the Texans' offense is completely shattered, and they have injuries this week.
Yeah.
Plus, they have one of the best defenses in the entire sport. So 41.5, I'm probably going to add more to it that I had earlier in the week. Kyle Shanahan, 26-16 under the total as a single-digit dog. Steve Mackin, VSiN.com. D'Amico Ryans, 10-1 under the total as a home favorite. Stroud is 14-5 under against teams with a winning record, for what it's worth. There's also this. Kyle Shanahan is 0-10 ATS. Last 10 when coming off of a home win. So
I have 1-13 ATS off a win. Any win.
Off any win?
Yeah. That's incredible. Going back. Christmas of 2023. That's from Evan Abrams. In the last 9 games against the defense allowing 17 points or fewer, 1-8 ATS. Houston, number 1 scoring D. Number 2, an EPA per play. 5th in yards per carry allowed as well.
Well, and I stand corrected. The total's going up.
I don't get it.
There are 42.5s out there.
Fairbairn, right back on Fairbairn, over 1.5.
Yeah, you have to
Both teams to make a 33-yard field goal. How money has Pinheiro been as well? Pinheiro's been great. But I mentioned about McCaffrey. He's almost 2-1 to have 7 receptions, and he's in the low 40s for his yards. 7 for 57, 7 for 72, 8 for 82, 6 for 92, 10 for 88, 6 for 52. Again, the creativity, but also that Shanahan knows, who the hell else do I have?
No, bingo.
I have to do. And guess who had the biggest play of the game? 3rd and 13, they throw to him, and they pick up the first down.
Look good
so
last
he
week.
was big, unbelievable Sunday night in that win. And you're right about what Sal is doing as well, but I just can't. This Houston offense is so bad. And, the regression from Stroud, also poor coaching, can't run the ball, and no pocket awareness as well.
Opta AI Stats, VSiN.com, they project Mac Jones for 254 passing yards in this game. His number at DK is around 220.5. It's a big number. I know that they just got sliced up, and they had no solution for Jackson Smith and Jigba on Monday night. But the 49ers don't have a player like him right now. Although Mac has still been able to make it work, is it going to be Bourne in the air?
He could go Kittle. He could go Bourne. Yeah. They could make it work, Shanahan. I mean, look what they did that Thursday night game against the Rams. Is all you need to know.
Boy, 42.5.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. That is too high.
By the way, do you want to run down the kickers right now?
Who I like?
Because Fairbairn is
got to be Fairbairn.
He's
15-3 overrun.
Well, then again,
he'd be 16-2. He missed from like 50+ against Jacksonville.
Right. I think this is like the perfect guy that you want to bet because of everything we've talked about. They're not scoring a ton of touchdowns. They can't move the ball up and down the field, but the defense is good enough to keep them in low-scoring games, and in fact, maybe even give them the ball within good field position of the opposing team, and like they're set up already.
Yeah. Collins officially out, Kirk officially out. Not good for Houston. Both teams to make a 33-yard field goal in the San Francisco-Houston game. Fairbairn over 1.5. In my article today, VSiN.com, I'm with Somich as well. The record's going to be broken Sunday. And I think the prop also cashes that was put up in the summer. Actually, in August after the preseason game, will someone hit from 70? It opened 30-1. I think it closed 8. Aubrey's getting that on Sunday.
They should offer it. Every book should offer something like that specifically for this game.
Yep. Both teams to make a 33-yard field goal. Denver, Dallas longest made field goal. Both teams 33-yard field goal. Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Boswell over 1.5 made field goals.
That's another guy, by the way. In that game, well, we all know about Boswell.
The teacher.
The kid for Green Bay is, oh my Lord.
From 61.
Oh, yeah, bingo.
Right before halftime.
Yeah.
That was big. I don't mind McLaughlin either too, from Tampa with one of the late games.
And he's had pretty decent numbers, by the way, in terms of like the juice on those bets. So you mentioned Boswell there and the Packers game. Aaron Rodgers, 20-5 straight up NATS with his team coming off a divisional loss since 2010. Now, a couple of angles here with Matt LaFleur. 21-14-1 straight up, but 13-23 ATS as a single-digit favorite since 2021. I will flip that, though, and go the other way. In prime time, Matt LaFleur is 24-13 ATS. They have the number 1 explosive play rate on offense. Check that defense, number 2 explosive play rate on offense. So with that in mind, and this Steelers defense that has been allowing big play after big play, I think we're going to see like Golden go over longest reception. I think other guys are going to be able to eat in this game like a Tucker Kraft. There could be a Dobbs sighting as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kraft. Steelers allow the 3rd most tight end fantasy points. I think Kraft's going to go. And it's National Tight End Day. What a way to go out, too, that Kraft will do something. How big was he last week?
I'm a big Kraft guy.
Yep. Green Bay hasn't won in Pittsburgh since 1970. And Rodgers will be the 5th quarterback all time to beat every team if he gets it done. Favre, Manning, Brady, Breeze. Tomlin is a home dog. Great. All those numbers as well. Very concerned about Green Bay, though. Where is that team and that defense from earlier in the season?
Easily could have lost last week.
What has happened? I could see Parsons wrecking it, though. Strip sack, wreaking havoc, getting after Rodgers. I like Washington anytime touchdown 3-1. But certainly he looked great. Steelers look great offensively. But this defense, right? I can't go under here. Like, this defense is awful. How can this be? How can the Pittsburgh defense be this bad? And I think we might get a shootout on Sunday night and have an entertaining game. And certainly both teams to move the ball. I will say that one counter, though, even though this kid's been great, that is a tough stadium to kick in. And I hope they got the turf.
True.
I hope they got that turf and that issue figured out as well after what happened when they played Cleveland. And I know, what was it, Narduzzi regretted he didn't say something to Tomlin after they played there the game before because he realized the field was shot.
I wonder how many people remember this game. They played a regular season game back in 2009. It was in December. It was Rodgers against Roethlisberger. The final score was Pittsburgh 37, Green Bay 36. 35 points were scored in the 4th quarter.
Really?
Yep. And I'm trying to get the box score right now, but I'm pretty sure Roethlisberger threw for more than 500 yards in that game. Yeah, here you go. Big Ben was 29 of 46 for 503 and 3 touchdowns. Rodgers was 26 of 48 for 383 and 3 touchdowns. It was an all-timer. I remember watching it. I remember where I was watching that game. And now they're playing in the regular season again in Pittsburgh 15 years later here. And Rodgers is playing that former team. That was the year Green Bay went on to win the Super Bowl. I can't believe it's been that long ago.
Okay. So, again, let me sneak this in. Last year, 15 different tight ends scored on National Tight Ends Day. Ingram, Kincaid, Kelsey had 90 and a touchdown. Kittle had 128 and a touchdown. Otten had 80 and 2 scores. Pitts had 90 and 2 scores. Kraft had 80 and a touchdown. McBride had a $124. Andrews, Laporta, and Njoku all scored as well. Wow. I just think, and the creativity again with what's up and everything's listed at DraftKings and also Caesars. You can bet first touchdown, most receiving yards. The combinations here. Any tight end to score 3 times. Any tight end to have 100 yards. Any tight end to have a rushing touchdown. And then you can do the combos. Like, will Goddard, Ingram, and Ertz combine for 3. Henry, Kincaid, and Ferguson to combine for 3. Kelsey, Kraft, and Ferguson, 18-plus receptions. That's 5-1. I mean, Ferguson's a target monster.
Yeah.
And the other thing, you go up to Caesars, and they have all these games listed where you can bet, well, they have each guy. Well, they have 10 yards in each quarter, 50 yards in each half, 25 yards each half. How many touchdowns? It's great. And all these tickets, most of these tickets, rather, cashed last year.
Do you have a number right now in front of you on will any tight end score 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I don't like it. It's 4-1.
Okay. I wonder if there is a book out there offering will any tight end score 2 touchdowns. If you see that one, let me know.
Well, yeah, 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm only asking for 2, Utah.
What do you want as far as yardage?
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
Get like
yeah, we got to run here, but I want to do a round robin anytime touchdown parlay with tight ends.
Yes.
That's what I want to do.
Yes. For example, Otten 75 yards and a touchdown is 5-1.
Otten could have a good game against the Saints.
Johnson's plus big number. Jonnu Smith, 10 yards each quarter, 28-1. I mean, that's There's some great stuff out there. Think you know sports? Start getting paid for it with Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app, where your sports knowledge turns into cash. Sign up today, get the free money, and no deposit needed, and you get a 50% deposit match up to $200. Download Better in the App or Google Play Store, or head to better.app, code VSiN. Get your money, code VSiN.
Matt Vasgersian, MLB Network, next. He's one of the very best at breaking down a matchup, game, or a series. I can't wait to hear his analysis of it coming up next.